Hello, and welcome to the Expletives Included generic podcast with much less nutritional value than all name brand podcasts.
Yes.
So today we're back to regular podcast format, so it's just me, Daniel, and my partner, Keir, co-host.
I'm not committing that.
I know, it's a big step. We've just been having a very in-depth conversation, and our conclusion to which has been that lots of societal problems would actually be solved with the development of a very kind of simple kind of human kind of thing. Just essentially, if everyone had a lawyer fetish, then society's problems would be solved.
I personally think it's the most British of fetishes. Anything that involves bureaucracy in the bedroom.
But that's not what we're talking about today in the slightest. No.
File me, Dan. File me. Go late.
You just said you're not ready for that kind of commitment.
Yeah, part of this indicates a long-term thing.
And, well, that's going back onto the conversation that we've just had. We're talking about different things. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons, Satan's game. Except
I don't know. It still
about
Pathfinder. Talking about sex. Still seems like we're talking about sex.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Yeah, the two.
Are we going to baddragon.com?
Oh yeah, the dragon penis sheath.
Yes. Was that from Bad Dragon? I can't remember.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of them.
I remember you showed me that comic that one time.
What?
That was weird. Say again? No, I don't think it was Oglaf. I think it was a different one. It was like a comic where he reviewed sex toys.
Oh, The Joy of Sex.
I can't remember. It was a while ago now.
Yeah, no. The author's still doing that. It's kind of a shame because she used to do a comic before that was like this really interesting autobiographical one. She's had actually a pretty interesting life, and then she's doing this, and it's like, well, I want to read your stuff because you're a good writer and a good artist, but this is really not for me. You know, as interested as I am as
a guy who wrote the comic. I thought it was a guy who wrote the comic.
No, it's a woman.
Fair enough.
But you know, as interesting as a sex toy that simulates eating a woman out, that's literally just a wheel of tongues.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
As interesting as that is, it's not really for me.
No, I've seen that. I think it was like last Christmas, someone who I was working at Game with.
Did you give them your heart?
Say again?
Did you give them your heart?
No. No. And I can't remember like the name of the song or the band or anything. It's
apparently that is the most popular Christmas song in Japan.
Fair enough. I guess it's good for karaoke. No. Because the person who I'm talking about has a partner.
And they're not poly.
And they're not poly. Is that a common enough thing that we need to kind of point it out now? I don't know many poly people. I think I've talked to a couple just like on dating websites, and
I know a few. I know a few.
No, because there was a kind of sex toy website that they particularly liked, not because they bought anything from it, just because the reviews were hilarious.
They always are.
They always are. It's a fun way to spend the afternoon, especially you got drinks, you've got sex toy website with hilarious user reviews. Generally look for the ones which say would recommend. They always seem to be the best. And of course, Pokemon Stadium.
They are.
Those three things are the trifecta of a good night.
Seriously, I was looking at ones for tunnel butt plugs the other day. Got linked to me. It's very funny. These reviews were like fucking essays.
They get very passionate. Anyway, as I tried to say earlier, but we've got derailed. Get your mind out of the gutter.
That's my job, baby.
Good job. Get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about Pathfinder.
So nymphology.
Pathfinder.
I think there's a 3.5 version of it.
Pathfinder. Different book. Do I have any other Pathfinder books? Not down
You
here.
have a cool one, surely. You have the core book, surely.
Oh yeah, that was the one which I just showed. We've got the 2 with me. I think I've got a bestiary or 1 or 2 bestiaries somewhere.
You should have a bestiary.
In fact, I'm fairly sure I do.
Though, isn't Pathfinder the only mainstream fantasy game that doesn't have a DMG?
It kind of does, but not really, because the DMG is essentially part of the core rules. Basically, like the player handbook and the DMG, but there are like supplement books which are made specifically for the dungeon master.
Yeah, but all games have them, and most of the ones I've seen are like how to be a better GM type books, and here's 101,000 traps that you'll never use.
I don't know, because I think there's like a couple that are all in the same book. So I got Pendragon, which we've never played.
I said mainstream.
Mainstream. Okay, fair enough. You win.
I always win, apart from when I lose, which is a lot.
I think your lawyer fetish really does help you with that.
I don't have a lawyer fetish yet.
So we're starting up a new campaign, which is going to be you, me, and our longtime DM, who we've talked about before, Laurie, who was in the book club.
Yes.
It's just going to be the 3 of us. I think you've had like several games where it's been like with the other person. So with Ben, who we've also talked about, where it's been like you, Ben, and Laurie. Essentially, it's like
one game that was that. No, wait, sorry. I had.
No, you had tons, because you had like there was that whole world, and you were like kind of battling against each other or something.
No, I only was involved in one game of that. That's actually another campaign that Ben joined into. That is because Laurie is an excellent GM, but has been doing it for so many years. He has a rich Tolkienian world. And the game Dan's referencing is set before an event called The Reckoning, when things got messed up. And so that's when a lot of the wackier shit is. And Ben's got a character who was a wizard. He was a teleporting wizard. And now he's the avatar of a god.
Okay.
And he's sort of fighting.
A lot less serious than the main games.
It's a lot more planning and machinations. Machinations.
I think it's machinations.
I've heard both. But the main people who play this campaign are another couple of friends of Laurie's.
Actually, isn't one of them his sister?
Maybe. Harriet and Betty, I don't know how they're related. One's apparently male.
Betty is male.
Ah, I've never met them. And they're like a vampire and some other evil person, and they have a flying castle. And they go and they've killed a couple of gods at this point. It's pretty epic. So Laurie sort of invited me to join that game, and I agree.
Remember, you were doing all of the planning and all of the kind of groundwork for like that game that was going to be like you, Ben, and Laurie for a long time, because it was I think it was like at the time when I'm confident that it was like when we were all still in Ludlow. And it was kind of like you guys who had the free time, and I was one who I was working in catering, so I could never get like the right time off to fit in with everyone else, and it's basically just I was too busy.
You didn't love us. That was what it was. You didn't love us enough.
I was too busy. So you kind of started like a sub game.
I only ever got one game out of it.
And now Ben is the one who's too busy to do anything. So we're starting a new sub game, which is us 3.
Yes, and hopefully we'll get more than one game out of this.
Yes.
Actually, Ben plays his Reckoning game quite a bit. But yeah,
I just like to think that Ben's girlfriend doesn't want me playing with him anymore.
Why? Because you might win him away?
No, I'm not sure if she likes me.
I've never met her. No one likes Keir.
Wow. I don't know. Let's not go into that.
So yeah, in that campaign,
Our campaign.
Well, I'll explain my character first because I like that character.
Your character, because I thought that was what this was going to be. We were going to kind of discuss and kind of build our two people together.
No, I mean my character from the Ben and Laurie one.
Okay, yeah, go on.
It was a level 13 Orc Oracle. Now, Oracles are from the advanced Pathfinder rules. They are a spontaneous divine caster.
I've never... With the only kind of Oracle that we've come across was one of Ben's characters, and...
He was evil.
He was evil, and he was a bit weird. I still don't... Even though I kind of gamed with an Oracle for, say, about a year, it was probably about a year, wasn't it? Maybe even longer. I still don't understand what an Oracle does, what it is. It's just... He was very mysterious. I don't fully understand Oracles. That's
kind of the point. They're like vessels for weirdness of the gods. But yeah, she was like a bent old crone, blind, and sort of just a sort of really powerful, scary woman of an orc who was running this cult. And it was sort of, we started now sort of doing this machinations with the orcs because where the orcs were in Laurie's campaign at the time was they were sort of driven out to the mainland and they were all on this one island warring with one another. So what I wanted to do in the meta was unite the orcs and use my future telling abilities to gain new technologies to help us invade the human lands and enslave the humans. So using this ability and stealing sort of like ships, I started building a fleet. And sort of, but there was a great storm keeping the orcs penned in their island. That and their shitty boat building technology, which I sorted. So Ben's character was the way to get around the storm. We were going to kill a dragon, and nothing really happened from there. And that was that.
That's a shame. Maybe you just didn't get to kill the dragon.
Yeah, it's like I built this.
Persists.
There was one really cool bit in the game, though. Oracles get really weird abilities.
Yeah, it's like you've got a mystery and a curse. So what... I was looking at it, but I thought we don't really want to kind of go into that. That's something which we can do like at a later date, or like in a shorter video. But you get like your mysteries and your curses, which... your mystery is basically just like your class feature. You get something weird. And this kind of like replaces a domain. It looks like so you've got like the battle mystery, mystery of bones, mystery of flame, mystery of heavens.
I like the mystery of time.
And then RS, which isn't in the APG.
I don't know what book it's from.
So you probably found it on Pathfinder SRD.
Because I don't own any Pathfinder books.
D20 PF SRD.
Yes.
Which is basically just like a massive database of Pathfinder rules and books, which is a very good source that we used quite a lot.
Yeah, pardon me. Yeah, where did... it comes from Ultimate Magic. And basically the way it works is you can pick, at certain class levels, you can pick a revelation, which is a weird ability. So, but some of them are really strange. Like, I had teleportation abilities.
Okay.
So I could just teleport around.
Which is always useful.
Yeah. And also, one of the weird things about oracles is their curses eventually become boons. So she had, she was blind. But by the level I was playing at, she had blind sight.
Okay.
Also known as the best sight.
Someone cast darkness. None of you can see.
I'm an out woman. Smack. That wasn't her voice, but it's like she was a bent out crown.
Like people can't see. Stop that. Bonk. Stop that. Bonk. Stop that. Bonk.
Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about these characters because this is a different campaign.
This is a different campaign. Are we going to record this?
What do you mean?
Are we going to record the new campaign? The three of us for the site.
I'll have to talk to Laurie about it.
We'll talk about it. It's a possibility because we haven't wanted to do that. We just haven't had the players and stuff.
Yeah.
But it might be a nice excuse.
It would. Yeah, no, I can probably do that. It'll require a bit of legwork on my part, but I can do it.
So what we're doing is, we're not entirely sure, but it's going to be some kind of buddy cop movie.
We want to, well, my suggestion was, because Laurie said that he does side campaigns to the main campaign, and he lets the ridiculous shit fly in his side campaigns. So my suggestion was we do a buddy comedy, because I always like.
The only caveat is that we kind of, if he says something happens, then it happens. Was it?
Yeah.
So we kind of can do anything, but then he can do anything.
Yeah. I mean, in fairness, that's how I run all my games. So, yeah, and I like the idea of sort of players creating a party that already has a backstory. Because I always feel like just sort of random adventurers hooking up for no real reason kind of doesn't work for me.
So finally getting into the meat of this podcast, that's kind of what we're wanting to hash out here. We're kind of trying to create this backstory, create these characters, basically develop the backstory of this campaign. Because do we actually know what's going to be happening, or do we just know that it's going to be us flung into it?
Just us versus the wide world. Probably going to be in the same country we're playing the main campaign in.
And you were saying just like a buddy duo, did you say? Or
yeah, well, a buddy comedy.
Buddy comedy, that's what. Yeah. And so we kind of decided. Well, I kind of brought up. There's a meme that's kind of gone around. There was a while ago that I remember seeing, kind of liking quite a lot, because it's basically the Road to El Dorado. And I can't remember if I saw it and then I rewatched the Road to El Dorado, or whether it was just after I'd rewatched the Road to El Dorado, because it's a great film. And it's basically a buddy comedy in D&D. The meme was, it's like, this film is the perfect example of why you should never have a party that's composed just of a rogue and a bard. And from what I took from the film was that this is the perfect example of why you should have a party that's just a rogue and a bard.
Yeah.
They go to a foreign continent. They interact with the locals. They pretend to be gods. They get gold. They get wealth. They get women. They have hijinks. They battle with dark priests and demons.
I've never seen this movie, so I'm going to assume it all turns out well.
Kind of. They don't get to keep the gold.
But did they learn something along the way?
I think they did, and the rogue also got the girl.
Sweet.
I'm
playing the rogue.
He's playing the rogue. I'm always the bard, so I said that I'm not going to play the bard. So we're actually thinking that maybe we'll do like a rogue and a fighter, or...
Yeah, because actually bards suck.
Yeah, bards are awesome. It's just they never play anything else.
It's, just mechanically they're not very good class.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they just get like 6 skill ranks plus intelligence. They get a...
Yeah, they're practically retarded. Rogues get 8 plus intelligence.
Yeah, they're the only people who top them. I think no one else gets 6. I think like everyone basically, because like the cleric gets 2 plus intelligence, the fighter gets 2 plus intelligence, the monk gets 2 plus intelligence, the wizard gets 2 plus intelligence.
Which I still call bullshit on.
It's because they spend all of their time studying magic. They have no time to study how to climb a wall. Yeah, have you ever seen, how ridiculous is it to just imagine a wizard taking a rock climbing course?
Yeah, but they have
how wizards deal with problems. A wizard will see a sheer cliff face and think, if only I knew a spell, if only I could climb this wall, or if only I dedicated all of my life to studying magic so I could just levitate to the top of this hill, to the top of this sheer cliff. It's like, oh wait, I have. Whoop, 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 whoop. It's like, see you at the top, suckers.
It's not like there's only 10 knowledge skills.
You don't study knowledge. You study how to master the arcane.
Yeah, so knowledge arcana.
Do you not get that as a bonus thing?
No. Well, you have it as a class skill, but you know, it's like, well, and then there's spellcraft, which is different for reasons.
Well, it's a knowledge of kind of weaving magic. Because you can weave magic without knowing how it works. That's what a sorcerer is.
Yeah, and that's why they suck. I'm not actually sure sorcerers get spellcraft.
Let's find out.
Sorcerers get a stupidly small number of skills. As the viewers may have noticed, oh wait, no, they do get spellcraft, but they also get use magic device, which wizards don't. I like skills as a player. I think they're useful and add fun to the world.
Skills?
Yes.
Yeah, was it you or someone else who was saying that basically you choose your skill, and then to kind of create their backstory, you kind of take each skill and then you kind of create a story as to why they would have that particular skill.
Yeah.
And that was you.
Yep, that was me.
That's a good... I like that idea. That's a good idea. It's like, you know, it makes a lot of sense. It's like, why would this wizard know how to climb walls? That's weird. That's unusual. There needs to be something behind that.
Rather than just like, he was a precocious scamp.
Rather than just as like, well, yeah, I mean, what if I'm out of skill? The player just thought, it's like, what if I'm out of skill ranks and I need to climb?
Or sort of, well, I've got this one spare skill rank. What do I throw it in? That's what swim is for.
Because, you know, swimming, I suppose, is easier to explain.
I got dumped in a lake once.
My parents didn't want me to drown, so they chucked me in a river.
Or they may have wanted me to drown, and I proved them wrong.
I'm still not sure about that. And then, boom, instant contention between the parents.
Yeah.
Between child and parent. So that was kind of like where my original kind of thought went to with the whole kind of buddy comedy. It was the road to El Dorado with the rogue and the rogue and the bard, and their kind of adventure starts basically just by them being the rogue and the bard. They're kind of using loaded dice. They're gambling to swindle these sailors out of their money, and then they kind of bet this map to El Dorado to get kind of all of their money back. It's like double or nothing, and they kind of take it. But then they kind of like say, it's like, okay, it's a deal. But now you're using our dice rather than your dice because we don't trust you. And it's like, shit, what have we done? They roll the dice, they win the roll, but then like they're kind of gathering up all the money, the dice fall out, and then it kind of rolls onto a 7 again, and then it kind of bangs the ground. It's like 7, rolls the dice, 7. It's like, you swindled us. And it's like, you were using loaded dice? How dare you? You scoundrel, you rogue. It's like, what? You accuse me? These were your dice. It's like, you insult my honor. Draw a sword. It's like, I shall cut you. It's like, you. And then they start fighting, and then they kind of cause this distraction, and then they kind of fight and get away and kind of run across rooftops, and it's really fun, and you should watch it. It's a great film. It's a great buddy comedy. Yeah. Okay. Well, whatever. Watch clips of it. And I don't know, where was your kind of main inspiration? What did your mind first go to when you were thinking of buddy-inspired comedy stuff?
Well, you know, it's a classic trope. It's Randall and Dante. It's C-3PO and R2-D2.
Surely it's more Han and Chewie.
No. Because they're just friends. They're not a duo.
Can't have Han without Chewie.
You don't want to see the new Star Wars then?
Can't have Chewie without Han. We've already had Chewie without Han in the prequels.
Oh yeah, Chewie was there. I tried to blot that time of my life out of my mind.
But yeah, the great buddies like Anakin and Ben.
We don't talk about that time. You know, let's just go with my favorite duo, Dante and Randall from Clerks.
who almost kind of hate each other,
but also love each other. So like us.
I know I hate you.
Yeah, me too.
But no, that's not what you're supposed to say. That makes you the one who kind of makes people go, ah. I'm the one who makes people go, ah.
I thought I was the cute one.
I'm the cute one. Look at my growing back. I don't know. My beard is growing back. It's growing back slowly, I think. It feels like it's growing back slowly.
It would look good with a fedora.
You insult me, sir.
I do.
How is this a neck beard? It's growing all over my face. Neck beards grow underneath and nowhere else.
Oh, a neck beard can be on the face as well. It's just you haven't trimmed underneath.
Which I do when I can be bothered.
When I can be bothered to smear the Cheetos dust from my hands.
I would say I don't eat Cheetos, but I have recently had cravings for them. I went to this kind of American restaurant and they had Cheetos kind of tubs on the wall. And I was going to ask if they sold them, but they kind of, I never got around to it because Cheetos don't exist in the UK anymore. No. I've heard that maybe they've come back, but they kind of changed and different.
Was this the OK Diner in Leominster?
No, this was closer to Shrewsbury because it was someone from work.
Oh, okay.
Their birthday.
Just OK Diner does the best milkshakes. Well, I've kind of actually made a rogue bard. I've already got my character, the build. So I've already kind of made a rogue bard because he has minor magic ability. And he also has performance stuff in his face. Which is basically a bard done right.
If you say so, Keir.
You know, none of this inspire competence bullshit.
If you say so, Keir.
I do. He plays the lute.
None of this bardic knowledge nonsense.
Oh yeah, that's just lying through your teeth and getting away with it.
Oh yes, this is a sort of +2 sharpness.
In fairness, he can cast Identify.
Good
because I found a great way to basically in Pathfinder, rogues have minor magic and major magic as talents they can take. They're an optional class thing.
Is it like every 4 levels? It's like a second level and then every 4th. You basically get like an extra boon that you can...
I have 3 on this character.
And actually, no, we were studying level 7. So was it just every 2 levels you could get one?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Basically, they kind of give you kind of your roguish ability. So it's, say, it can be something simple like casting a 0-level spell or casting a 1st-level spell.
Or gaining weapon finesse, which allows you to fight with your dex.
Or kind of standing up as part of your move action rather than the whole of it.
Or being able to run while using stealth, that kind of thing.
This kind of thing rogues should be able to do, but it doesn't kind of feel right for a 1st-level rogue to be able to do.
This is a good way. It's a good way of making rogues modular, I think. But anyway, I found this feat called Bookish Rogue, which allows you to study a spell book for 10 minutes and change your minor and or major magic ability.
That sounds a bit broken.
Well, you can only use up to 1st-level spells, and you have to have those spells in a spell book.
Yeah, but you're a martial build. You're not supposed to have spells at all.
Actually, they don't run on the martial track.
No, they've got the medium track for attack bonuses. Yeah, but still, if you want to kind of in like a combat setting or like, well, the greatness of the rogue is the number of skills and it's the sneak attack damage.
Well, yeah,
it's like you're the gore machine. It's like you just need to be kind of behind someone and you can stab them in the kidneys for massive damage.
Yeah, but that's not what this guy does. But so I picked up a pre-made spellbook because I've already established they exist in the world. It's like, oh, I now have 5 spells. I can only cast 3 a day. And, I think I might put in a thing that they can only change it once a day.
Does it not say otherwise?
It just says it takes 10 minutes and it's just permanently that till you use this feat again.
But how many first level spells can you cast in a day?
I can cast 3. And I can cast 4 0-level spells.
Fair enough. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about your character's build?
Oh yeah, he's got obscene sleight of hand. Plus 21.
That is obscene. How did you get that? Because you're only like 7th level. You're only 7th level, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you put a skill in it at every level.
Yep. I normally just hit. The way I assign skill ranks normally is I go through and pick the essential skills and just max those out per level. So I've got sleight of hand to 7. I've got the gloves of larceny, which are a minor magic item or a wondrous item. They give you a +5 to sleight of hand, and then I have the deft hand feat, which gives me a +2, +3 for it being class skill, +4 for dex.
I lost count, but I'm assuming the maths is good.
I'm assuming it too. Basically 3 lots of 7.
Yeah. Okay. That's.
So I can do a take 10 and get 31.
Assuming you're not kind of stressed.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't there a roguish talent that you can take which allows you to take 10 even if you are stressed?
Yeah.
Have you got it?
No, I took Finesse Rogue instead.
Okay. And so that's kind of the interesting parts of your build.
Yeah, those are the interesting bits of the build. I mean, there's sort of 1 or 2 little things, like to hide something on his body. That sleight of hand goes up to a base of 30.
What race are you?
Human.
Okay.
I have concealing jewelry.
Concealing jewelry?
Yes. Basically, it's jewelry that has fake compartments in it. You can hide small items.
Okay.
Gives you a +8.
Fair enough. It would have to be small enough to fit in the jewelry, though.
Yeah, so it's like a piece of paper or something.
So it's not like you're going around like a 80s/90s rapper with a giant clock on your chest. It's like, there is nothing suspicious about my giant jewelry. Pay no attention to the small hobbit, the small halfling, trying to get out of my pendant.
You know what? There is a listing for a pocket watch in the items. I'm tempted. Do I want to be the Flavor Flav of rogues?
Who doesn't want to be the Flavor Flav of rogues?
Well, someone who's actually listened to Flavor Flav's music. So yeah, that's the build I'm running with. Have you got a build, or we going to do that now?
No, I'm going to do it after this because I want to kind of know more about what's actually happening. I'll find the niche that I think needs filling, and then I'll fill it.
Okay, well,
so I'm still kind of not sure of what kind of duo we want to be, because you kind of want to be
the fancy man.
You want to be thieves.
You
want us to kind of, I don't know,
be thieves.
No, you didn't say thieves. You said you want us to liberate the wealth of the of those who didn't deserve it and redistribute it amongst the us.
No, I said to the deserving, such as our favorite bartender.
Well, we will raise a toast to the poor.
Yes. What?
I'm not fond of the idea of being thieves. I have no problem with kind of stealing from people who have wronged us along the way or something, but just going around just kind of robbing people's houses because they're rich, that's bordering on the evil side of things.
Not if we only rob dicks. And pretty much everyone who's got Baron in their name is a dick.
That's racist.
No, it's not.
No, it's
classist. That's what it is.
Is there not a different name? Classist doesn't sound right.
Aristocracist?
I don't know. Let's just say discrimination based on class.
Well, that's what classist means.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound stupid.
Because it's an actual thing?
Wait, are you saying classism isn't a real thing?
No, I'm saying it isn't a real thing. Like, is that why it doesn't sound stupid to you?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Let's go with aristocracism then. Or
that sounds a bit silly as well. I don't know. It's just like, other than the main things, anything which has kind of ism or ist on the end does sound a bit silly.
Audrey.
Hmm?
Audrey. That can make things sound silly as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I'm not too fond of that idea. It's like because I either want to play like good guys or I want to play the bad guys. I don't want to be just like the guys who go around robbing people.
You don't want to be the lovable scoundrel.
The lovable scoundrel's annoying. Did you ever read The Sword of Bedwyr? It was a R.A. Salvatore novel that you kind of sent to me.
Oh no, I've never read any Salvatore.
Because you've got like the lovable scoundrel in that one, who is the halfling rogue.
Halflings, stop right there. They're annoying.
Yeah, but he was also from Gascony, which is basically the French continent of that world. So he's a halfling and he was French.
Good God. Well, I am happy to rebuild my character.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not saying you have to rebuild him because we still want kind of like a roguish guy who's got the skills and got the know-how.
No, I'm happy to. I like making characters.
Like, no, Dan, please make me remake the character.
I have an online dice roller that can roll up to 80 characters at once for a reason.
Mm-hmm. I was going to kind of suggest that, even though we've already been talking for like 40 minutes, I was going to suggest we kind of go around talking about different buddy duos that we're fond of and that we might want to emulate or stuff. So, why don't we talk about because did you ever watch Samurai Champloo? Because I didn't get around to it that much, but I've seen a few episodes.
I've never seen it.
It's kind of set in that Japanese history age where all Japanese history is.
So you mean the Edo era?
I think it's the Edo era. It's basically around the time where swords have been outlawed. So it's kind of like we've got the introduction of guns. Only like officials can carry swords on them, and you've got the samurai who's kind of out of place. He's out of his time.
Yeah, it's Japan's favorite time period, the Edo era.
Isn't it part of the Meiji Restoration?
That's the end of the Edo period.
I think that's like where most stuff happens, like the end of the Edo period.
Yeah, that's sort of where it's sort of the whimsical melancholy of the period is what. It's actually a very interesting move, sort of the idea of an entire class of people outmoded and sort of the idea of Japan, them reflecting Japan being out of place with the rest of the world and sort of maintaining one's traditions while moving forward and blah, blah, blah,
blah. So it's set in that kind of situation. And
actually, one of Kurosawa's last films was about that. It was really good. No, that's a different movie I'm thinking of. But it was also really good. It's like
very enlightening. Thank you.
Seven Assassins, I think, was what it was called.
Mm-hmm. And so we've got the samurai as one of the main characters, who I think he's a Ronin. Actually, he doesn't wear armor. So he's just like a samurai without a lord. And then there's another one who I'm not sure if his class is a Ronin. He's basically he gives off the kind of impression of just like a bandit. He's just always looking for a fight. But they're both kind of excellent swordsmen. They end up kind of fighting, neither one kind of getting any ground over the other, but their fighting styles are both kind of incredibly different. And then there's like the Ronin, who's the very kind of serious one. He's the serious one of the buddy duo, and he's like saying, it's like, your fighting is awful. You have no form, you have no discipline, you have none of this. Why can't I land a hit on you? And he's like, I hate you, but God damn it, I respect you.
So it's the classic buddy man formula of the straight man and the funny man.
Yes,
the tall man and the short man.
He's not exactly the funny man. He's just they're paradoxical. They're kind of like the antithesis of each other.
Well, if you know your Bushido, which isn't actually a real thing, but if you know your sort of Japanese way of war, there are two essential sides in swordplay. There is the mountain and the ocean. A good sword fighter is both, but the mountain cannot defeat the ocean, and the ocean cannot defeat the mountain.
That's probably what I can see how you could allocate like each of those roles to each of these fighters.
It's Book of Five Rings. That's where that comes from.
I can't remember really their names, but you'll know who I'm talking about if you've ever seen it. Because like the one, he is very stiff, he is very kind of rigid and kind of unwavering, and the other one, like in his fighting and his kind of demeanor, he is kind of more flowing. He's more lucid. I can't remember how, but they end up just kind of both vowing to protect this girl who's searching for the samurai who smells of sunflowers or something.
What does sunflowers even smell like?
I don't know.
I've grown sunflowers. I don't know what they smell like.
Damn it! If I was smarter, that would have been a perfect place to make a joke about your nose.
I have a very large nose.
Exactly. You'd have thought that it would be an easy joke to make, but
you do realize we could play samurai.
We could play samurai. Is that actually a class as well?
Yeah.
Is it like a variant of the cavalier, or is it?
Yeah, variant of the cavalier, and there's a sub-variant that's basically a kind of version of the rogue. Because they have this thing where when they draw their sword first time in combat, they do sneak attack damage, essentially.
That's cool. So that's kind of like a cool buddy duo. And they're kind of both fighters. And they're both kind of like the top of their game. And they're kind of brought together, even though they're kind of very different, through this desire or this kind of obligation to help this girl, to help this person who I think possibly saved them. It might be like a life debt type thing. And so that's kind of like a fun kind of way of doing it, because they're not roguish, they're not rogues, they don't go around like robbing people, but they're always kind of like on the poverty line. They're going from like city to city, like fighting people who want them dead for some reason, or just, I think like in the first episode they kind of piss off like a lot of people, because essentially one is just kind of picking fights and killing whoever he wants, and the other one refuses to kind of bow down to this new aristocracy kind of thing, and kind of gets his problems there. And
well, if he was a Ronin, he'd be outside of the aristocracy, so yeah.
I
mean, if you want to do that kind of dynamic, that sounds fun.
But I'm just kind of running through different kind of duos that I think would be fun to kind of go to.
I mean, you could sort of go for the for one we've both seen, Cowboy Bebop.
Is that kind of a duo? Because
there's Spike and Jet.
Yeah, but Spike is the one who wears the suit, and Jet's because Jet doesn't really do anything. He's like the pilot. He gets the information. He fixes things. It's always Spike who's kind of out in the fray and doing the exciting things. And
yeah, but he's the
story forward.
But Jet's he's the face. He's sort of the competent one.
He's
the one who keeps things together.
I don't know, because I think that something like that would
actually
great, because like the moment kind of like combat starts, or the moment kind of like the face stuff starts, then one of us is going to be kind of left on the sideline.
Jet could kick ass.
He could, but he never really did.
Because he had a
the road to El Dorado, they were always kind of both. They were both kind of these big personalities. They were both kind of goofy, which is because it was a children's film, but it meant that they were, if anything was happening, they were both right there in the action at the time.
Okay, well, and in fairness, that kind of dynamic would work best if it was like, well, as it is in the show, a 4-person dynamic. Because you have Faye Valentine and Ed. Yes. And I suppose the dog as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who was awesome.
$1 million dog.
He was so cute.
Not
as cute as Ed, though. Well, do you remember the mushrooms episode?
Maybe.
So they all get high on peyote. It's up to Ed to save the day.
Because Ed was the only one who wasn't high.
Yeah. Well, Ed's always high on life. Okay, well, how about Dante and Randall?
Dante and Randall. Yes, let's be shop assistants.
Well, no, it's more the interpersonal dynamic. You know, Dante is, well, they're both competent.
He's the straight-laced one. He's the one who plays it, tries to play it by the book,
but finds the book too constricting. Whereas Randall doesn't play by the book, but finds that he can't exist without the support of others. I'm including Clerks 2 in my description here. We're also going to get a Clerks 3. That's been announced.
Because Kevin Smith isn't going to do another View Askewniverse movie ever.
No. Never.
No. That stopped before Clerks 2.
In fairness, his last couple of movies have not been View Askewniverse. They've been awful, but they weren't View Askewniverse. He literally did one about a mad scientist turning a guy into a walrus just so he could make the bucket joke.
The bucket joke?
Do you remember that ancient meme about a walrus wanting that red bucket?
No.
That's how old it is.
Fair enough. But then other great... but then that still doesn't kind of give us a driving factor as to why we want to be... why we're doing things.
Yeah, but that's kind of what the campaign is about.
You
know, the campaign...
that we're both like 7th level characters, but we're just living humdrum lives until this big event kind of happens.
Which doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, other than for like clerics and wizards, why would a 7th level fighter be sitting around gardening?
So, Don Quixote and Sancho Panza.
Have you actually read the book?
I've read part of the book.
Okay. Do you know what Sancho Panza's main obsession throughout the novel is?
Right, so let's see. He's got a... Did he have a donkey?
Yes. He had his ass.
He had his ass. And he liked food. No, he didn't like food, but he was...
No, he was the fat one.
He had a paunch. That's what Panza means. I can't remember what his driving motivation was.
Don Quixote.
But I'm sure I must have got to it, because I do remember like quite a bit of Sancho Panza, but
he's a fun character. Basically, Don Quixote said, in our travels, we will do so many wondrous deeds that you will be granted a governorship.
Ah, yes, yeah.
And actually, in the second book, because there's 2, but they're normally combined into one. It's actually an interesting story about why there was a second one. But anyway, in the second book, a trick is played upon poor Sancho Panza, and he gets his governorship.
A trick is played on him, and then he gets to be governor.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a sad tale of woe.
But it ends with goodness.
No, because him getting the governorship is the trick. And in having this trick played upon him, he realizes that he is not quite fit to be a governor.
Okay. Fair enough. But really, it's just the romance of chivalry and the life of a knight errant, going from land to land, saving princesses and stuff.
Yeah. And sort of, it's Don Quixote or Don Quixote if you're a 16th century Englishman. That was how it was originally sold over here.
A 16th century English gentleman.
Some days I try to be. I feel I look good in tights.
I know I look good in tights.
You don't shave your legs.
They need to be thick tights.
Yeah, he sort of, Don Quixote's got the magnetism to sort of bring Sancho Panza along into this, some kind of warps the world around him. That's the great thing about Don Quixote. No, I think that could be a really fun thing to play. And if whichever one,
would we want to actually have that kind of delusional outlook on, because Don Quixote is actually insane,
and so Sancho Panza, he believes his master's insanity. I mean, I think it's sort of often played in the books that Sancho Panza is just stupid, but you know, it's, I think you just play you play Don Quixote as a very low wisdom.
But then, so yeah, you can still have like that that romance of like the chivalric life.
Well, you could
crazy.
You could have the knight and squire dynamic work quite well. And I don't mean squire as in sort of trainee knight. I mean sort of squire as in servant.
Or as in the comic book, Knight and Squire.
Yes, the other Batman.
The English Batman.
Who was also magic.
He was magic?
Yeah, he was magic.
I don't remember him being magic.
The original knight was like trapped in time or something. But then he died, and then his squire became the knight, and their daughter became the squire.
Okay. I should probably read up a bit more on Knight and Squire, because that's weird.
Well, as a dynamic, that could work quite nicely. As sort of, well, from my favourite book, there's Uncle Toby and his man Trim.
Which book was that?
The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy. Now, Uncle Toby is the most... He's the most quintessentially British person I've ever read about. But he's also the most lovely man I've ever read about.
Oh, I'm now Red Lantern rather than Green Lantern.
Okay, Sinestro, whatever.
He was a Yellow Lantern.
Didn't he turn red, initially?
No, he was a Green Lantern who turned into a Yellow Lantern.
I don't read the Lantern comics.
Me neither!
Anyway,
I just have all the shirts.
Yeah.
I know the names.
Basically, they were both in the army together. Trim got shot in the leg and couldn't serve anymore. So Toby took him on as a servant because they were such good friends he couldn't bear to see his friend become destitute. And sort of then when Toby was eventually shot in the groin, sort of Trim nursed him back to health, back in England, and it's sort of it's sort of a master-servant relationship, but they're just friends, really close friends. And I think that could work as a relationship. They're still opposing personalities, but that's the basis of it. There's sort of such mutual history between them that they stay together.
Yeah. And so I guess if they've both been shot, it was some kind of war that they went through?
Yes.
Because there is a war that's been going on in Laurie's world. In Ranadon, is it?
Yeah.
So that could easily be a back... Well, it depending on what he's written, that could, or we could have even just emigrated. That's easily something which could be like an obvious backstory if we wanted to have that kind of knight and squire relationship.
Yeah, that could work quite well.
But disillusionment from war, well, I don't know, we could be quite young. We could have this, we could have been fed propaganda of the state that war would be this romantic kind of chivalric endeavor where we kind of bring peace and save people, and we wouldn't have found that. And so becoming disillusioned with the war, we would strike it on our own.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we don't have to be that young, remember. You know, characters can be in their 30s and not have to take additional...
Characters can be in their 30s and still be disillusioned.
Yeah, but I mean, sort of, I think it's either in your 30s or your 40s in Pathfinder you get the age increment.
Yes, which is cool. I don't think it's in like 5th, and I'm fairly sure it's not in 4th either. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've looked at the books.
Yeah.
But...
I mean, I've played older characters before, and I'm quite happy to do so. I think that adds a level to the character.
Yes, the older you get, the weaker you get, the smarter you get. So you get negatives to your kind of strength, dex, and con, and then you get a bonus to your intelligence and your wisdom. But do you get a bonus to your charisma as well?
You do. You do. I always sort of see it as you're more eloquent.
You do. At middle age. So actually, a human in the medieval setting of Pathfinder reaches middle age at 35 years.
Yeah.
He is old at 53 years and venerable at 70 years. If he gets that old. Doing well if you reach that.
Yeah. Especially, you know, if you're in the adventuring life. So.
You need to be a wizard.
Pretty much.
If you're a wizard, you basically start your adventuring career at 65.
Hey, my wizard's over 100.
It's not human, though.
It's
not human, though.
True. Very true. If we were playing 2nd edition, he wouldn't be allowed.
If you're a wizard, if you're an elf, then 100's quite young.
He's a gnome.
Gnome.
He's 105, as I recall. But yeah, I like this dynamic.
He's middle-aged. The
campaign is his midlife crisis.
I see. I think there were some other buddies that I wanted to talk about, but all I can think of is Rush Hour.
Never seen it.
Shanghai Noon? Shanghai Noon?
Yep.
Basically just going through Jackie Chan films.
I've seen one Jackie Chan film.
Just the one? Just the one that you were talking about the other day?
Yeah.
Dude, watch more Jackie Chan.
In fairness, I have seen all of the Jackie Chan adventures.
It's something, I guess.
It was a really good cartoon.
There's a recent one. I think it was like Forbidden Kingdom. And again, it's got this whole buddy dynamic. Where it's got this... It's basically this drunken fighter who is Jackie Chan, of course, because he's
I sense a
master.
I sense a theme in his movies.
Yeah, I think it's like I said. I think he just wants. When he was younger, he just wanted to be known as like this guy.
Master.
There's the drunken master, the guy who was like the master of that style. And if you wanted a film that had that style in it, then you'd have to get Jackie Chan.
Which is sensible.
Because I think it was kind of unique. I'm not sure of anyone else. Admittedly, I'm not all that caught up on Eastern cinema, but
it is an actual martial art. You know, it's an ancient style. It's like monkey style fusion.
Yeah, but I was just like saying I don't know any other actors who know that style.
Well, really, Jackie Chan was in the first wave of that kind of Asian actual martial artist that wasn't just a white guy in yellow face. You know, he had Bruce Lee, and he had his own style, which it was a modified form of Wong Chen, which is a modified form of Wong Chen. Actually, a simplified form, which is kind of
Ip Man,
Yes, he was the inventor of the style.
who was played by Donnie Yen.
Maybe.
Maybe, I can't remember. Yeah, I want to learn more about it, and by learn more about it, I just mean I want to watch more films. But I don't know, because
it's a great movie. I really recommend everyone watches it.
I should watch it. But really, I really love Jackie Chan's movies because they're martial arts, but they're also comedies. And his earlier ones were actually funny because they were kind of aimed at an adult audience, whereas his kind of more recent stuff, it's all. Well, I think it's because he has sustained so many injuries
But he still insists on doing all his own stunts.
Yes, but they're getting kind of less and less. I mean, he is actually old now. He is very old, and he's very kind of damaged.
But he's still got it. Yeah, that film I watched.
He's still kind of doing all of his stuff, but he's taking less and less risks, which is why I think he's going for kind of more and more child-friendly films.
This last movie was not child-friendly.
What was his last film?
Dragon Blade.
That's his most recent film.
I believe so.
When you were talking about it, I thought it was like an old film.
No, it came out last year.
Fair enough.
It's ridiculous, and I find it funny because of the inaccuracies and the silliness. But it is a comedy in ways.
But because like his old stuff is like very funny, I do kind of find myself laughing at it. But there was like a trend, let's just say that in the 2000s, where he was doing like lots of kids films, like The Spy Next Door, the sequel to Shanghai Nights, all of the sequels to Rush Hour 3, which I didn't even see. I didn't even want to see. But yeah, he had a dark age of Jackie Chan.
Like the dark age of Steven Seagal movies.
Wasn't that Steven Seagal movies?
I am not going to say anything. He had some good ones.
What was I going to say? So yes, but he does like have a few kind of buddy kind of situations. So there's the one where, he's like the drunken fighter, and then there's the venerable monk. I guess it's kind of like the same dynamic. You've got the mountain and the ocean. And they're kind of brought together through this child who's kind of been traveled through time and has the staff of the Monkey King, and kind of needs to return it to him. And then they're both kind of, it's a quest of redemption. That's what it is. They're both trying to redeem themselves by kind of performing this task. So you could go for a kind of redemption angle. We have sinned greatly in the past and must redeem for it.
Well, I suppose it's a redemption from the horrors of war. You know, even if war is justified, I think people coming back from it feel the need for redemption.
Yeah. What is it? There's like, I can't remember like any kind of direct quotes, but it's like atrocity when you're at war. Atrocities kind of committed by your enemy are savage, brutal, and the kind of reason why you need to be at war against them. But atrocities committed by your own side are honored, venerable, and like a necessary thing, and kind of go towards ending the war effort and bringing peace. And it's, and I guess kind of like afterwards is when you kind of realize that all atrocities are atrocities.
Yeah.
And so again, that's like an easy way to kind of explain a seeking of redemption. But then it kind of depends whether you want to kind of set it after a war has already happened and you're coming back from that, or if it's like you've deserted war before any kind of true atrocities could be kind of committed by yourself, because you were going out there to kind of seek this romantic ideal, you weren't finding it, and you decided to desert. Again, you can try and find redemption for the mere act of deserting, which in that kind of world is not looked upon nicely. It's
especially for especially if we're going for the master-servant relationship, especially for the Lord.
Hmm.
You know, he's sort of not only usurped his sort of his duty in terms of to the war, he sort of usurped his duty to the land, to his people, and to his family. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Which is why I'd say like maybe younger characters would be better.
Mm. Well, or at least for the Lord.
It kind of depends like what if you do kind of want to go for like master-servant relationship, because if it is just kind of like war buddies, then you kind of don't need that angle as well.
You know, I think you can add a lot of layers to this.
Mm.
That's sort of the thing. You can add infinite layers of backstory.
It's just kind of deciding what we want to.
I mean, it basically comes down to what do you think would be most fulfilling for a campaign.
And things as we're just kind of trying to show our creative process and help anyone along who's, because lots of people do struggle with kind of creating characters. Is that kind of what you want to kind of? It sounds like that's the kind of thing which you would have as a closing thought. It's like just kind of do what you think would be most fulfilling.
Yeah, and we'll probably try and remember that and say it again. But sort of remember, you're being this character for however long you're playing this campaign. That can be a couple of months, a couple of weeks, maybe a year or more. Several years with Dan's characters. Mine die a lot. And if they're not fulfilling to you in some way, more than just sort of a nice quirk of design, but their personality and their role that you're playing with them is that you find fulfilling to enact.
But then, because I worry about everything far too much, I don't want to kind of put you in a position where you're not kind of getting that fulfillment out of the character. Because like you said, you wanted to do this kind of these roguish scoundrels who go around robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. Because
that was sort of that was my idea for an initial idea for everything thrown against the wall. You know, where we can be cheeky and funny and sort of run through the streets giggling type thing. But if we actually want to do a more fulfilling campaign, then yeah, the ideas coming up with thus far are far more interesting to me.
I want to be kind of what would be more interesting to you say?
I said what we're talking about now is far more interesting to me.
Because I do romanticize high adventure and kind of big kind of stories and stuff, and I just think that kind of going around robbing people, it doesn't sound epic. Unless I know, because you can kind of like have like bigger and bigger heists and bigger scores, and
it's kind of a starting point. So it's like, oh no, we've stolen this artifact of Oobly Boo. Now we must
kind of, because when I think that's like stealing from like a kingdom's castle or from the capital, or some kind of ancient tomb where you kind of see these artifacts. Whereas it feels like if we're just going to be scoundrels kind of going around robbing people, and we're just going to be going to like manor houses and, like you said, stealing from barons and
barons and manor houses are up to all manner of weird shit. You know, both me and Laurie agree on this. Secluded manors are where the weirdest stuff happens in fantasy games.
But I don't know. So you think that?
I think as a more fulfilling campaign and sort of more interesting in story terms, the master and squire who are escaping war, seeking redemption in themselves is far more interesting.
I don't know, because the way that you've kind of put it that way, that does kind of sound like it could get interesting, where you kind of go into a manor and steal the Eye of Argon, and then that just kind of sets.
Yeah, no, nothing would make me steal the Eye of Argon.
And just kind of set you down this kind of inescapable road that it's
well,
it's kind of like the path you chose for yourself. It's kind of the greatness has been thrust upon you.
But so to think of it in a funny way, that idea. Imagine playing a character who the universe is forcing to be the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of everything's coming together. You will save the day. You don't want to be a hero. You're a scoundrel. So literally everything you try and do to escape your herodom pushes you further towards it. I don't know how you do that with a buddy campaign, but that's sort of talking up that idea. The problem with doing this with a writer is like, oh, there's a tiny idea, let's talk that through. It's entirely irrelevant.
But then also kind of denigrating the knight and squire. I mean, you have kind of like laid out that it would be just kind of like a friendship, but it does kind of feel like in that the characters wouldn't be equals, which I think is quite important for a campaign to have like everyone equal.
The point is that they may not be social equals, but you're never going to have everyone in a party be social equals. The point is they see each other as equals because they have this deep bond.
So you wouldn't have like either one just kind of always kind of making the decisions. So you wouldn't have the knight kind of saying it's like, it doesn't matter if you want to kind of go and do that. We're doing this because this is more important.
No, it would just be if it came down to such a the point of those characters is they'd be so in tune that they'd both agree that was the important thing to do. It's not like Batman and Alfred. It's more like Batman and Robin.
Batman and Nightwing?
Yeah, actually, that's closer. Batman is technically superior to Nightwing, but they both respect each other enough that they can take each other's advice. And the way you sort of play out the the disparities is let's say the knight is a younger character. You have the squire be more experienced and more knowledgeable about the world. The squire is the competence to the knight's inexperience and fears of the world. I don't know.
And I'm not sure if I'm any closer now to kind of deciding on what I want to actually have happen. Because I remember like when trying to sell the kind of thieving rogues angle of it, you were saying Conan the Barbarian started his career off as a thief.
Yep.
And he became king by his own hand. So what was the transition between, like, what did he go from after thief?
He was mainly a thief, to be honest. He was sort of a thief. In terms of class build, he was a thief fighter. And it was sort of through amassing his own wealth and through sort of gaining this fame that he was able to take over this kingdom eventually. To give another example, a pulp series I love is Fafford and the Grey Mouser.
I'm not familiar with that.
I've sent you the link a dozen times and you never listened to it.
Yep, that's true.
It's also Neil Gaiman's favourite pulp characters, so take that. And
good for you, good for him.
They're thieves and scoundrels, but they're also they then get embroiled in the greater things of the world. So they sort of, it's not that they break into a house. They're not burglars, but they hear, oh, there's this really famous gem of X or something famous anywhere, and they'll go and get it. They'll have adventures. They'll travel across mountains, across seas, across continents to get something if they hear about it, but they'll just as easily break into some baron's house.
Because although I do like that idea, because I do think that's kind of a romantic idea where you kind of hear about this ancient gem of unimaginable power or whatever, kind of hidden in this faraway land, and kind of going and taking it. That's the kind of thing that it's not going to pay the bills because you'll get it and then no one will want to buy it, kind of thing.
That's the thing. They do fence it, and then they spend all their money on wine and women, and then have to steal something else. That's the adventurous cycle.
I think it's a funny kind of idea to kind of go through all of this to kind of get this ancient artifact, and then to have no one want to buy it.
They are actually. They do end up in that situation once or twice.
When you amassed like this amazing amount of wealth, you're worth billions of gold pieces, but you still don't have like the silver to buy a good drink.
But that's the thing. They're not the most powerful or important people in the world. There are things going on above them. And that's kind of why I suggested that as for the side campaign, because your world-shatteringly important events are going on with Balthier, not this guy.
Yeah. We're not going to be saving the world.
Inadvertently, we might, I think.
Because in like the other campaign with like the blind orc shaman and Ben's character, the wizard Zahn, he's godlike now.
Yeah.
So that's not a lot of...
Well, he was just a taxi service at the beginning.
He was, because he made teleport good. But yeah, because I do like the idea of, well, it's just like with D&D, I do always kind of like this idea of high adventure, and that kind of always kind of brings me back to again the road to El Dorado, which it does kind of like feel like what you were saying with these two roads, because they do kind of cross mountains, oceans, and whatever to kind of get this vast amounts of wealth, but it's not changing the world.
No, I mean, in fairness,
but it's not kind of doing anything for anyone else.
But that's the thing. Neither of our ideas we're talking about are about changing the world. Redemption is not a world-shattering thing. It's a personal event. It's about going through. It's not even about going through hardships. It's about coming to terms with oneself. So that
was what you kind of added. I think I was just talking about people kind of not being disillusioned with kind of propaganda and war and seeking like this chivalric romance.
But once again, that's still not earth-shattering. So it still fits that idea, if that's what you prefer. I don't know.
Actually, talking like the whole code of chivalry and knights, that is kind of very much what the Cavalier is supposed to be, isn't it? I think.
Yep.
And the Cavalier is not really a class that I've looked at. It's not something that I've really been all that interested in. I think there's always kind of been something about it that's kind of put me off. It's just kind of well, I think essentially what I've always thought is if I wanted to be a Cavalier, then I would just be a fighter and I'd put my feet into kind of riding proficiency. And
they do get a +4 to skills.
The Cavaliers do.
Yeah.
So it's 4+ intelligence. So they get 2 extra skills. But then it's with the Cavalier, it's all about the mount.
I mean, that's why I like the Samurai special class.
What book is that in?
No idea. Alternate classes, Samurai.
Ooh, actually, I've never really looked at the Inquisitor class either. Because
Laurie doesn't particularly like the Inquisitor class. It is from a player companion.
Okay, so ignore the actual Inquisitor class, but an actual Inquisitor. Because religion is very big in Laurie's world, and is it Hill Siren with the ethos? They're very strict. So being kind of an Inquisitor who's not an Inquisitor job rather than an Inquisitor class, that could open a lot of doors to crazy goings on.
I mean, what would an Inquisitor be doing in Ishabreen, though?
Oh, was it set in Ishabreen?
I think it is. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, well, that's great for chivalric duty and stuff, because there's always a princess to save in Ishabreen.
That's kind of the point of Ishabreen, actually.
Well, that just makes me want to do this kind of chivalric, knightly, courtly.
Well, let's do that. Let's do Don Quixote and Sancho Panza.
Yeah, let's be knights. Let's go around saving princesses and shit.
Well, I want to be Sancho Panza, so.
Okay. I want to be Don Quixote.
Then we're fine.
Then we're fine. Yeah, okay. So we're not going to have like a crazy world-shattering game. We're just going to kind of go around saving princesses, making money, pleasing lords, and
wooing maidens. And wooing maidens.
Wooing maidens. And then we can still liberate wealth from kind of barons and stuff, just as long as they're evil.
Yeah.
Yeah. We might have to kind of actually give it to the poor rather than kind of give it to a poor bartender.
But remember, I'm the poor.
Yeah, but still, if we're kind of doing all of this knightly duty and chivalric stuff.
Fine, but, you know, I want my governorship.
Mm-hmm. That's stronger than it was yesterday.
Sorry?
That's stronger than it was yesterday, I'm sure of
it. Sorry, I just found what might be stupidly the most useful class for Sancho Panza to play.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fighter subtype called the Pack Mule.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally just he's good at carrying things.
Cool. Okay, so we've kind of got our idea. We're going to be these chivalric heroes of stuff. What's our dynamic going to be? Are we going to kind of be from Ranadon? Are we going to be escaping war? Or are we just going to be ex-peasants who...
Well, you'd have to be a lord to be a knight, remember?
Don Quixote wasn't a lord. He was just insane.
No, he was up a social rank. He was just a don. He was just a don, but still.
But no, we can still be kind of going a kind of Conan route, a king by their own hand.
Yeah, but you could be a second or third son. That was what a questing knight originally was. It was a second or third son trying to make their way in the world. Because now we're getting into Arthurianship, and we both love Arthur.
Exactly. That's kind of what I'm thinking about. We need... Because, yeah, that's like a great thing about Arthurian lore. It's like you just ride out of Camelot just like a mile in any direction, and suddenly there's an old man waiting with a quest.
Yeah, an old man in a wood. Got a big exclamation mark above his head. That's how it works, right?
My daughter's been kidnapped. Quick, slay 3 bunnies and return to me with their belts. Very good. Now I need you to go to the village yonder. Deliver this.
Yonder is the other direction.
So yeah, we're gonna go for kind of war vets. Are we gonna go for just kind of like a knight errant, just like the second or third son, trying to prove or whatever, or kind of marry into wealth? Or
sure, well, that can be. I mean, as I said, I want to go for the peasant character. I want to play the servant. Because Laurie has said this on many times. I will give up almost anything for a good story. My characters have lost so many body parts for story reasons. That shark took my leg. It didn't, but you know.
So yeah, like what kind of backstory do you want to have? So you want to be the peasant. So do you want it to be kind of a war story, or what do you think's like a good idea for this? If we want to be just kind of...
Well, let's sort of back this up a bit to where you're a non-favored son, shall we say? You're at least third son of whatever but you're still loved by your family. You know, let's say your mother's got a soft spot for you.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm the youngest.
Yeah, let's go with that. And you know, you did her vagina the least damage coming out, so she likes you better.
Why would you even go there?
Because I'm a terrible, terrible person.
At least I'm a terrible, terrible person. People laugh.
Yeah, I haven't got this whole comedy thing down. So you're sent out into the world. You're given arms and armor by your family, and you'd be assigned a squire to look after you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm perhaps a sort of older member of the household family, you know, household servants, who maybe like is more of an uncle to you than whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not quite an uncle, but you know, of your sort of close to your father's generation and your generation.
Can I still call you uncle?
Uncle.
One more thing.
That's my fucking catchphrase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, and I'm a bit old and grizzled, but
I think there's like a really fun Paragon class that I was looking at, which I'd never got because you needed Cavalier as part of the prerequisites.
mm-hmm.
I think you might have needed to be a bard as well, because I think you needed like the something like challenge, or you needed the Cavalier ability, and you also needed Inspire Courage.
Yeah. Don't think I've looked at the prestige classes recently.
Battle Herald, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You needed the challenge ability, which is first level Cavalier ability, and the Inspire Courage class feature, which
mm-hmm.
is Inspire Courage. What level of bard do you need to have Inspire Courage? I think it's level 2.
Yeah.
Because it is actually a pretty cool prestige class.
Sorry, I'm looking through prestige classes myself.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because that's kind of like what I used to like to do about character building. I would look at the prestige classes and I would look to kind of what do I want to build into? What do I want to kind of, what's my goal? So that's kind of like a thing that I liked. I'm hoping that it's just bard level 1, because I wouldn't want to have many, bard levels. Inspire Courage, yeah, it's level 1.
Mm-hmm.
So if we start at level 7, then I could be a 5th level. Actually, no, I could be a. So I think I would only need to be a 4th level Cavalier, a 1st level Bard, and then I could have 2 levels in Battle Herald. The only problem is, I think that the Battle Herald is kind of. It is kind of based around having lots of followers, which kind of goes against the whole buddy dynamic, because it should kind of just be the 2 of us, I guess.
Yeah.
At least until later, until we kind of like made a name for ourselves on our own.
Yeah, until you've become a lord.
Mm.
I mean, I think I'll take this character as just straight fighter. Because, frankly, I can't really see any class, subtypes or prestige classes that really add much flavor-wise.
Yeah, with the Pathfinder prestige classes, I think you really do want to just kind of stick to the core rules, and possibly to the Advanced Player's Guide, because the others don't really seem all that interesting. I mean, you have some prestige classes that only go up to level 5, which is just weird. And I just don't think that the others are as good. And because you need to kind of like think, is it worth kind of going into this prestige class, or is it worth getting these extra levels in class that I'm already leveling up in? And
especially if you're a spellcasting class. I mean, you lose so much by just swapping, by breaking class with if you're a spellcaster.
I mean, like, dependent on what you do. So, like, with the Mystic Theurge, it's frustrating because you need to kind of get to... You lose out on 3 levels of spells of one class, but then versatility, like when you actually start leveling up as a Mystic Theurge, is probably worth it because you kind of get the extra levels.
To be honest, you could actually play a first level Mystic Theurge.
I don't think that would really fit.
But, it's just like, oh, level 7 is the earliest you can do that.
Because I think with a Mystic Theurge, you're always going to be like 1 or 2 levels of magic below what like another person of your effective character level would be. Anyway, we're just talking about classes now. We've been talking for about an hour and a half, so we should probably be trying to wrap up. So,
well, let's. So we've decided on our dynamic.
Yeah, kind of a knight and squire, but you're going to be kind of the knowledgeable.
I'm going to be the wise older one. I'm going to be your Ben Kenobi.
I don't know, because Ben is the knight, really, isn't he? He is a Jedi Knight. Luke is the Padawan.
Well, Luke never officially becomes a Jedi Knight.
In Return of the Jedi, which is suspiciously named, Vader does say it's like, you've made your own lightsaber, so your Jedi training is complete.
Yes, but there's a difference between a Jedi and a Jedi Knight.
Fair enough.
Because I'm a nerd.
Yes, you are. So I'm going to be the knight. I'm going to be the one of lordly birth. You're going to be older. You're going to be more knowledgeable. We're basically going to be going around making names for ourselves, saving princesses, making money, possibly. What is it? Like drinking dice and girls.
We're going out wenching.
Wenching. That's like a catch-all term for it all. Possibly. I'm not sure if I'm going to be that kind of person.
Oh, I am.
You are. Okay, so you can be the ocean, I can be the mountain.
But yeah, you'll sort of, well, I'm not sure. My character will be sort of rougher.
And I don't know, because I'm going to be the one who's going to be going around and it's like, let's go save princesses and shit.
Yeah, and I'm sort of, well, my back hurts and I want to drink.
It's like, bitch, you're not even 35 yet.
I might actually go up to middle age. And one more thing. Where the hose at?
So essentially there's going to be just like a chivalric Arthurian tale of searching. We're not going to be escaping a war-torn country of disillusionment.
No, it's going to be a bit more upbeat.
More upbeat. So it's just going to be like a fun, trying to do like an Arthurian tale. Seeing as we've never actually done our Arthurian tale.
Yeah, but So
we're going to have to do it in Pathfinder.
Well, we never play anything else.
That's true. Even though like Pendragon has a great kind of system, I think.
And Eclipse Phase has the best world ever.
Was that the Warhammer one?
No, it's the Cyberpunk Future one.
I'll think about it.
No, you won't.
Oh. You're going to be a fighter. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into Battle Herald a bit more. And possibly go Cavalier, depending on Battle Heraldness, but I might just go for straight up fighter as well. Because, there's just so much more versatility.
Maybe pick something like Sword Lord or something?
Possibly.
Because remember, Ishabrian does have the City of Swords.
It does, which is a nice place. We
Never
haven't
been there yet. I intend to burn it to the ground.
Oh, why would you do that?
Because I'm a gnome.
That's your excuse for everything.
So I think we should call it a night there because it is 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's our discussion on making characters and why you should do backstory.
Yeah, and
because it'll lead you to interesting places.
Yeah, this has been our thought process. This has been us deciding what we want to do.
Yeah, so once we're offline, we'll make the characters actually.
Mm-hmm. And it's always best to kind of group together and decide what you're doing, and that way you can not, because this is how you avoid having the paladin and the chaotic rogue who wants to rob from everyone.
Let's be fair, you could have just said the paladin and Ben's character.
The paladin and Ben, yes.
I hope one day Ben actually plays a paladin.
I don't know, I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if he could play a paladin.
I want to do that game one day where we play the exact opposite of all of the characters we normally play.
Uh-huh. Well, I want to play the evil fighter. I keep saying I want to play the evil fighter, but everyone's like, no, don't be evil. God, don't be. Oh no, it's not.
No, we keep saying keep it to an evil campaign. We keep saying keep it to an evil campaign.
For 10 years.
You haven't been playing D&D that long.
For 9 years.
So we started after college. Once we were in college.
Yes, we did. 7 years. 6 years?
I don't know. It's been a
For
time.
a long time.
Yeah, I can't remember if I was playing D&D in art college.
Who knows? Anyway, so we've basically made our decision.
Thank you for watching this. I'm sure it was not awful at all. Well,
people like watching D&D stuff. And it's always kind of preachy. It's like, this is how you do things. I'm not big on the scene, but that's kind of like what it always seems to be. It always seems to be preachy. It's like, this is how you do things. This is what you do. This is how we interpret the rules. I don't see anything which is just kind of like, hey, let's just get together and make stuff.
Yeah, let's just be all cool and loose and have a fun time.
There's plenty of that on YouTube, but
yeah, that's what the AMSR recordings are.
AMSR?
Yeah. I'll find you what it actually means.
The 420 videos. Yeah, 420 advocates. Yes.
It's not about weed. It's autonomous sensory meridian response.
All right.
Basically, it's like a nice tingly feeling you get when you see or hear or feel something.
Okay.
Some people get it from just people talking.
Fair enough. So yes, we've been excellent. This has been our generic podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again next week, where not sure what we're going to be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be just as riveting as this one.
I promise nothing.
Goodbye.